Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the 7th week in a row we've been doing this show. Can you believe it?
I can.
Yeah, it's pretty believable. This is the cast of us. I'm KassemG. That's Bruce Green. Every week, every Monday, we come here live on Twitch and talk about last night's episode of The Last of Us, which is the case today. Which, I gotta say, we're going to get into our feelings about it, but I just got done telling Bruce, so we had a lovely time. We got to do a little bit of personals at the top now, I decided. A little bit of personals.
You decided, okay.
You had a wonderful baby shower. Thank you for inviting me and my girlfriend Ashley. And and as you were just telling me, everyone loved me, and I didn't say anything weird, and I was a big hit.
Spoke with my mom the whole time.
Yeah, I
my
did
mom was
glue myself to your mother.
Early,
yes.
And then they spoke a lot about me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what was said. So I assume it was all good. No. Okay. Well, I mean,
your mom is so funny. So sharp as a tack. She should be on, if she was on Twitch, she'd be easily invited to all the events.
Yeah.
She'd be guesting on Hassan's stream. She'd be doing her own sports show. She'd be doing this. She would just be in both boxes of this show. You know what I mean? She's so good.
What did Kassem get me for the baby shower? I don't know what Kassem got me.
Oh, do you want me to tell you? Because it should have arrived today, according to my Amazon. Maybe it's still out on delivery.
Then hold on. Actually, no. Then don't spoil it. No, I don't want to know. If it's not already here, then I don't want to know. I want it to be. I love surprises, Kassem.
Yeah, it should be. I didn't get a delivery notification, but it did say it was out for delivery. So
great.
I think you'll need to create space for it because it's a car.
What? You bought me a car?
I got
you really
I got
are
your,
a millionaire.
I got your baby a car, and you have to keep it in your garage for 16 years.
16 years. It's going to be outdated by the time the baby wants to drive.
I'm sorry. That's
how it goes. Okay.
If you just keep low miles on it, it'll be good. You can take it out once a week to make sure it's lubed. All the oil's working its way through the engine.
Okay.
Welcome to the show, everyone. You want to talk Last of Us?
Let's do this. I mean, I was thinking about this before. We picked the wrong show to talk about because this show is so good.
Should we not be talking about good shows?
There's so little to talk about in the sense that we're never going to have an argument because it's generally really, really good.
Well,
the episodes are great.
I've got some nits to pick. I think that overall the show is pretty good. But to me, and you guys know what I'm about to say if you've been watching the show each week, it's just no Station 11 for me. That's right.
Oh, come on. I mean, yeah, look, I finished Station 11, by the way, at the behest of Kassem.
Yeah, you finished it quick, too.
I did. I watched through it in I want to say 3-4 days. And I enjoyed it. I did. Mm-hmm. You're totally right, though. Station 11 is very much like the Last of Us television show. However, I have heard that Station 11 pulled a lot of its influences from the Last of Us video game. Did you know that?
The book?
That's what supposedly the Station 11 television show, showrunner or creator or whatever, was a fan of the Last of Us.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. From what I understand, it's based on a book, and I figured maybe the book would have been older than the game, but who knows? Maybe it's not.
Well, no, it might be. But what I'm saying is, the person that made the television
was
show
a fan. Yeah.
Was a fan of The Last of Us.
Okay.
I don't know. Whatever. I honestly, I think both of those. Station 11, Kassem, you're gonna hate this.
No, everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
It's a really good television show. A really fun one season of I really like that it was only one season, kind of like a mini series. But it's it's pretentious. Boy, oh boy, is it pretentious. It really wants you to think it's art. It really does. And parts of it are beautiful and great.
Is it because it's about a traveling theater company? Is that what's pretentious about it?
That's one of the reasons. I mean, there are many reasons, but that's one of the reasons. Yeah. Again, I'm not saying the show's bad.
Shove it up your ass. Very good. Shove it up your ass, Bruce.
I think the show's very.
Hey, now we're an odd couple, personality pairing. Doing, we're like Siskel and Ebert now. minus the throat cancer. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
here we are doing okay. So here we go. We're gonna bring our two different opinions. One guy loves Station 11. The other guy kind of likes it too.
I think it was a good show, but I'm not gonna be like it's the greatest television show of all, like Kassem is, because it's not. But it's good.
It's one of the best things I've ever seen. But yeah, okay.
That's fine. Well,
let's talk about
fine.
episode 7 of The Last of Us. It's called Left Behind, okay? And it's based on the DLC. I just got done playing this right after I replayed Last of Us. I went right into Left Behind right after. A short little sweet thing. It fills out a lot of the backstory. What'd you think of the episode of TV that the DLC was based on last night?
I mean, it's really great. I played the DLC, so I kind of knew what was going to happen. Parts of it it wasn't exactly the same translation as the DLC, but it was close. So I really liked it. And honestly, gosh, man, I wish I hadn't played the game or played the DLC, because I would have loved to be more surprised by what was happening here, because it really is good television.
Oh, so you having that knowledge, you think, sort of affected your experience watching the show,
which is weird because it feels very. I've been running into an issue with the Last of Us show, which is it predictable or is it predictable because I played the game? Now, I thought the game itself, that's the storyline in the game itself, the first Last of Us, while very, very good, is predictable. And that's okay. That's all right. I love watching predictable television, but it's just one of those things that I have noticed. So I wasn't sure. I'm still trying to decide if I think the television show, each episode is predictable to me, or if it's just because I've already seen it a bunch of times and I've rehashed the story in my head. I'm not sure. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's a great question. I don't know how to answer because I feel like I'm so tainted by the game and like knowing. Here's the thing, maybe because you know what they've been doing is like they'll set up characters in each episode, and then at the end of each episode, like those characters that we just met, once we get to know them and love them, they die. And
yes, exactly.
This is a good point to also remind you, because Bruce mentioned, but I don't know if I had hit record yet, that this is a spoiler heavy show. This is a spoiler discussion. And so you will find out about the things that are happening in the show and the game. All right. So, yeah, I don't know if I, as a viewer, if I had never played the game, if I would guess, like when Sam and Henry were introduced, that those two characters would have been killed off at the end of that episode. I feel like maybe them, I would be like, oh, they're probably going to hang around for a couple, you know?
Right.
But you know, it's ultimately about Joel and Ellie, and they do a good job of keeping it that way by the end of every episode.
I saw a few people in chat say it's predictable. Like my wife never played the game, predicts everything the show, is what Alan Ball said. So I'm glad to hear that, because I thought that initially even when I played the game. So I always said it was kind of rehashed territory. The Last of Us was, so I was always like, why do people think this is so good? But it really is a well-told narrative. It really is.
Right. I would say they took bigger risks narratively in the second installment of the game.
I would agree. Yeah.
And once they did, everyone was like, "What the fuck?" I thought I thought the choices were great. Sometimes it's good knowing. You know, we just watched. I showed Ashley Ip Man. Have you ever seen Ip Man, the Kung Fu movie?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Ip Man's awesome.
It's a pretty predictable movie, right? I was talking about it earlier on stream. It's a tournament movie. Tournament movies, you know kind of what's going to happen, right? It's the Karate Kid. He's going to win in the end almost all the time. And we knew that going into Ip Man, but it was still so satisfying to watch. And there was a safety, and there was it was nice to be able to, even though we kind of knew where it was going, to just see how they went about it. And that's
right.
That might be the case here, because I am really enjoying this show. I thought last night's episode did, I'd say, like an A-, B+ job of adapting the DLC of Left Behind. I thought Storm Reed, who plays Riley, was fantastic as Riley.
Just killed it.
Absolutely.
Just killed it.
The casting continues to be top-notch in this show. They zagged a couple times from the game, but for the most part, it was like pretty faithful adaptation. And ultimately, it's about the chemistry of Ellie and Riley, and I felt it. If it was, it worked. The chemistry was great.
That's true. I agree on every point, Cassim.
We got to disagree more.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like that, there's not. It's just there's so little to talk about because it's so good.
Little.
Hey, how much do you love anime? Do you love anime?
No, I recently got. I recently got into giving anime a try, and I love an anime called Initial D, which is about
great anime. Great,
okay,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So I like
yeah.
cars in real life, and I know you do as well. And
I do.
that I didn't know animes could be like that. I thought all animes had to have like everyone's hair was pointy and and there was superpowers and
Yeah.
the earths were smashing into each other. I didn't know an anime could be grounded. So I actually like a lot of animes now, and I don't have the sort of prejudices against it. I've been watching I think the one I'm watching right now is Golden Boy, which is also like a very
I haven't
cool.
watched that.
Golden
Okay.
Boy is dirty. It's fun. It's it's like a raunchy good time. And
I have an idea for a podcast that I maybe we'll do with you, but it's anime based. I'm not going to spoil.
Oh,
what
okay,
it is,
good. Well, it's you love anime and I don't, and that's it.
No,
Okay.
no, it's a really terrible show that everyone loves that I think you and I could skewer and make a lot of enemies online. So I'm not gonna talk
Absolutely.
about
Okay, yeah, let's do it. I am also all for talking about sexuality in anime and how I think it's a little overboard in a lot of ways, but we'll save that for that first episode of that show. This is a Last of Us show. And where we left our protagonists, Joel had been impaled by the butt of a baseball bat.
Well, I don't know. It's not impaled. He was just stabbed.
Okay.
Just stabbed.
All right.
Just got a
Does
little
impale
stabbed.
have to go all the way through? Is that why?
I thought that's what impale was. Yeah.
Fine. He was stabbed by the butt of a baseball bat. Either way, he's not doing so hot. And
he's not.
it seems that Ellie has managed to pull him into the basement of a house. And it is not. The situation's kind of dire. It doesn't look great. There is some clear worry on her face. There is a scene here in the beginning where he kind of tells her to like amscray. What do you think that was all about?
I mean, this is what they were hinting at with the previous episode, where Joel's like, he's falling apart. Like he's having issues, with his heart. He's thinking he can't pull it off anymore. He feels like he's just gonna die. So he's just like, just leave, get out of here. Just let me die in peace. I can't help you anymore. Go back to Tommy.
Yeah.
And
like, go on, get.
And this really feels like he's given up fast. Like he's gone from I can do anything and get you through anywhere to I am terrible at all of this, so leave.
Yeah. In the last 2, maybe 3 episodes, in the beginning of you didn't play this so much in the beginning of the show, which was, oh, man, I'm fucking old, and and I've lost my fastball. And in the last couple episodes, that's really been the theme, right? He's like coughing, he's stopping to like have a cough or like grab his chest, and he's crying in front of his brother, and he's clearly feeling it. And so, I read this as he's lived this life and he knows when he's been beat, and I think he believes he's been beat in this case, and he's doing his best to like have Ellie sort of not have to deal with like another having to take care of him.
Yes.
And I think he feels, and that one tear that came out of Pedro's eye, that one tear was kind of like,
I saw that.
Oh man, I failed again. This chick's never gonna survive without me. And
I also, by the way, I also think he's like, he doesn't want to get attached to her as much as he already is because of his daughter. So I think it's that too. I think he's just like, please just go away. Like I already am attached to you and I'm fucking it up. So like, he's exploding.
I have to sneeze.
Do it. Get rid of it.
Cut this out. Okay, it went away. Aiden Falls asks, is he having heart problems or panic attacks? It's panic attacks, but like the point being that he, in the beginning of the episodes, he wasn't, he didn't seem as fallible. In the last 2 episodes, he seems like he's, got
miles that up.
Yeah. They sure do. So she essentially walks up the basement stairs, goes for the knob, And then we get back, we cut to this flashback, and it's Ellie at the Fedra Training Academy. And she's got her Sony Walkman on, and she's doing laps. And then guess what? You can't have like a school scene without a bully. What do you think of this bully, Bruce? Not
Man,
bad,
she's
right?
the worst. Huh? Oh, okay, all right. I didn't expect Kassem to be attracted to the bully, but
She's like tall.
there it is.
Yeah, she's like got I don't know, some sort of Swedish. She's got the pigtails. She looks like maybe even like a German. She could be like at Oktoberfest, serving beers.
Kassem, she might be in high school, just so you know.
Oh yeah. Well, not in reality. She's like 32. I feel like.
Oh, I was gonna say in reality, she's definitely much older than 17 or whatever. But
yeah, fucking Bethany, huh? What's her deal, dude? What's her deal?
she's a dick. That's her deal.
She's a classic
And
dick, and I guess
Go
why
ahead. Does every show need a bully? Why does every single one?
It gives us something to like. We have to be on the side of our protagonist. It's like similar to the save the cat moment that you hear about. You need to side with your protagonist, and if you feel bad for them, that's a way to feel
that bully. The bully's the easiest, the fastest way to do it.
It is such an easy way to do it. But I guess she got hers because Ellie talks about how she clocked her. She finds herself in the. He's not the principal, but he is the principal type. And what's
Kwong.
he say to her here? Yeah, the Kwong.
Captain Kwong is. He does a really good job actually of laying out this monologue. Whereas normally it's kind of like straighten up and fly right type of thing.
Yep.
But this monologue is you got two choices. You got one path where you're going to end up living a shitty life, doing a shitty job, because you just can't swallow your pride. You just can't put your fist down for a second. And the other path, if you swallow your pride and you suck it up and start being like basically like start living above the mess, you're going to get promoted to an officer and you're going to have a great life, working for Fedra and you're going to be the authority. You will win eventually over the Bethanies of the world.
Yeah, not a bad. That's an easy choice to make, right? If you're in the principal's office and he seems like a good. He seems like he sees the potential and he's letting her know that she's got it in her. And ultimately, you can't come down on these kids. You can't just put them in detention. They're just going to keep doing the same thing that they're doing. But he's sort of encouraging her to do the right thing against maybe what her default wiring wants her to do. And that's to be a leader. And we know that she has something in her. And he's identified it. And he's giving her some sort of option here, which she seems to kind of like. I think she likes him. Don't you get the feeling that she likes him and respects him a little bit?
Right away. Absolutely. I mean, it's not only, he is complimenting her. He says, hey, we know you're smart. We know you can do this. Mm-hmm. You just got to not be reactive. And, I think, and honestly, it just like most of the show, she changes her mind real quick. It's just like, it barely thinks about it. It's just like, bang. All right. You know what? I'm going to start flying right.
Yeah. And, I just noticed here is that he's also got a family. He's got a wife and what looks like a daughter here, So maybe part of him understands what it's like and he understands how kids can be sometimes. He's empathetic to her, which I like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. And he's not a terrible fascist like a lot of the people in Fedra that we know.
Not a terrible fascist.
Or it doesn't seem like it. Maybe he is.
Maybe there's some good to Fedra. It feels like Fedra's not something you can totally hate. And the Fireflies aren't something you can totally be for. They've both got their issues. And I think the game did a really good job of showing you that there's no, it's not black and white at all.
Yeah, that's right.
Ellie's got a pretty nice setup here. Look at this. She's got a bed. She's got a bunch of posters and things from, probably, music and movies and things that she's never even seen.
Yeah, I never
she had a big
realized
she had a big Mortal Kombat 2 poster.
I saw that. Yeah,
which comes in handy.
But she probably never played it, right? Well, hold on. We'll get to it.
She's probably never played it, but you
No?
know what?
Okay.
It's Riley's favorite game, I guess. Well, maybe.
We find out later.
Yeah. Well, and guess who comes through the window here? It's Riley. She's been gone for 3 weeks. Her best friend. Obviously, part of Ellie acting out is she's upset that her friend is gone, and now she's back here, and she's sort of upset at her for leaving and wants to know like where the hell she's been and what does she tell her?
I joined the Fireflies.
That was a perfect Riley. I joined the Fireflies.
She was very sarcastic the entire time she's talking to Ellie in this episode. But basically her real quick story is she was skulking around the city because she just didn't want to be in this area. She feels cooped up, and one of the Fireflies catches her and goes, "Hey, you're pretty good at sneaking around. Want to join the Fireflies?" And she goes, "Yep," like that.
I just saw a comment in the chat here that was interesting. Patson says Bethany's a dead ringer casting for Abby, which Abby from the second game. Interesting. It feels like maybe Abby's a little older, but you're right. She is sort of like.
Oh,
she's
really?
got the
We're gonna
kind
get
of
Bethany
look, I guess.
later.
I don't know.
Instead of Abby, it'll be Bethany. I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like why they can't just. Wouldn't just change the character. It's not like this isn't a Marvel cinematic universe where the same guy can play two different roles. But yeah, she's.
Anyways,
it would be fun.
Riley joins the Fireflies.
Yeah, she joins the Fireflies. She's like, all right, listen, you got to come with me and do this thing. You're not going to want to, but you got to come. And, Ellie goes, no, I can't. Showing a little bit of like, I got to follow the rules, miss. But then she's like, I also love you, so I'm going to come with you and do the thing that you said. And they go on a little adventure.
That's right. And they discover probably one of the coolest I was thinking, I should have put myself in Ellie's shoes during this episode. I was like, man, this would be really fucking cool if somebody got me into a sick-ass mall.
Yeah.
That'd be rad. Oh, you want to talk about the dead body falling through the floor?
Yeah, well, I mean, at first, you can't go to the mall without getting boozed up, right? So I've never been to the mall sober. And so before they kind of get to the mall, they're like making their way through these little corridors and hallways. And there's a guy who, looks like he died. I mean, he doesn't have a bunch of fungus sprouting from his face, so I don't know.
He killed himself.
He killed himself, and he hasn't been bitten, I guess. And
yeah,
so he's just been there
because he just took a bunch of pills and drank some alcohol, and that's where he died.
Oh, that makes sense. I thought he was just trying to have a good time. I thought
maybe he was.
I thought maybe he got bit early. Yeah, no, you're right. Yours makes way more sense.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll see.
And so they have that's what we call a fifth of alcohol, and most of it's still there.
That's right. Yeah. Exactly.
And this is what you want to see. You want to see your daughter playing with guns and booze. Right?
And Riley, even though she's part of the good guys, she's kind of a bad influence on Ellie a little bit, right?
A little bit. She's anti-disestablishmentarianism, you know? I just want to squeeze that word in there. She's like mentioned as not liking Fedra and wanting to free the whatever, and her values seem to line up with who the Fireflies what the Fireflies are looking to do. And so she's joined, she's got a gun, and the whole like evening here, I guess, is to like prime Ellie and eventually ask her to go with her, but she wants to show her a good time first, right?
Yeah. Are we into the mall yet? Can we show screenshots of the mall?
We are in the mall, baby.
This one beautiful shot of seeing the whole entire mall. Oh, that's such a great shot.
It's a great shot, and it was all VFX. I found out in the after show podcast.
I assumed it was green screen, but it's still really cool.
Yeah, it looks great. They did a great job.
But it really gives you a sense for how big the mall is, and like it kind of gives you. It's funny because like obviously we have malls, but like thinking I was Ellie, I was very nostalgic for this sort of mall. Again, even though I know they exist now. But
what was your local mall, Bruce, growing up?
We had really big malls because I lived in the valley here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, you had the Woodland Hills Mall.
We had the mall where the first Back to the Future was shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the mall, like where they confront the Libyans and all that other stuff. That was that mall.
The Libyans. Yeah. Have you ever heard of anyone being a Libyan since?
No,
never,
actually.
Right? You've never.
Yeah, that's true.
No one's Libyan anymore. Yeah, I had
Oh
the
man.
Thousand Oaks Mall growing
Oh,
up,
that's a good mall. That's a
and
good mall.
it's a great mall, the Oaks, and this is something I thought kids didn't do anymore, but I did go to a mall like at one point last year, and there are a lot of kids at malls still. Like kids still,
Hmm.
like teens, go from the school straight to the mall. It feels like
Well,
because
it's
you see
because
a
you can
lot of
just
kids with backpacks.
yeah, you can
Yes,
just drop them off there, and they watch themselves, Cassim, so that the parents don't have to.
it's an enclosure. And they've got food. Yeah, it's like it's a. But when you go in there, you're like, this. I can't believe we were into this. This is like this is a lot of concrete and a lot of glass, and the lighting is kind of harsh, and there's all kinds of smells, and it's tough to believe that one day we won't have malls, but I can believe it because we are sort of on that path. Remember when they started doing outdoor malls, Bruce?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there are still lots of pretty large outdoor malls around here in Los Angeles. So I don't know that those are going away. I think outdoor malls are probably maybe more popular than the indoor ones, but
Yeah. And welcome, Mr. Dave123. Glad you found the stream, brother. She looks like she gets on an escalator for the first time in her life,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
always fun to see. She really has a wild time on there. And first awkward moment of the night is him standing in front of the Victoria's Secret, right? And Riley's like, I'm just laughing because I can't picture you in any of this stuff. And it's a good point because I can't and I won't picture Ellie in any of this.
You shouldn't
And
actually is
you
the answer.
shouldn't. But there is a
That's only
moment.
directed at you. That's only directed
No,
at
I
you, Cassie.
appreciate that. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. It is a moment where she notices that she kind of looks at herself in the mirror and kind of has this sort of like, oh, should I like, does she think I'm pretty? Like in my head, I'm thinking she's having some thoughts that she generally doesn't have, which is like, oh, well, I hope I look okay. Like, hope she thinks I'm cute. Like that's kind of
Well,
what
she
I
also
took away here.
she takes her hair. She moves her hair out of her like out of her face
Yes.
a little bit to sort
Yeah.
of like give her appearance a little more of a a plus up for Riley because
She
she's like
plusses it up.
maybe I like Riley a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. It's not just a friend hang, is it? It's a little more. It's a little more than that.
There's a little more. I mean, just like when Cassim and I hang out, there's a little more.
There's a
So
little more. It's like when me and your mom hang out, and you. It's a little more. It's conversation. You know, the conversation with your mom just never stopped. We were just we were like
the worst
two
part about this
kids like that just found each other that have the same exact interest. Me and your mother yesterday.
the worst part about this chat is that he did just meet my mother. He's not joking. This is a real thing. And they
And
had a
we
conversation. They
honestly
talked for like
hit
an
it off.
hour.
Yeah,
They talked for an hour. Yeah.
it was. It was. I don't think I'll ever forget her.
Well, my mom is single, Cassim. So maybe you want to be my new dad.
Well, I'm happily in a relationship, but let her know that a backup is always needed.
Oh,
Just
man.
kidding. That's not true. All right, so here's a carousel, just so I don't get shit later. Here's a carousel. This is the most memorable part of the DLC for me, besides the thing that we're working towards. Was there sort of like little moment here on the carousel? It's nice, right?
I mean, like I said, there's some feelings welling up.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of knowing looks that Ellie's giving to Riley there,
Yeah.
and you like, again you start thinking like, I think I've given those looks a couple of times to a crush I had in high school, and Bella's just killing it, man. She's just killing it.
It's just
So.
one of those days. I remember being like young and being with the person you had a crush on. You're like, God, I hope this moment never ends. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hope an asteroid strikes or something happens and we're locked into this place together forever so we can just stay here. Isn't that romantic or is that bleak?
That would just kill everybody outside. And I think that would make it really bad, actually.
We would die, wouldn't we?
You would probably die as well.
As long as we're together. Right. Riley takes a big old swig here. What kind of alcohol is this, Bruce?
People were saying that I actually don't know if Hamblin's, I think it's Hamblin's whiskey, is real or not. I wasn't sure.
Hamblin. It sounds an awful lot like Amblin, which is Steven Spielberg's production company. Is this real?
It looked like whiskey they were drinking, but I don't know if it's real or not. Maybe chat knows, but there was an article I was about to click on before I had come to do the podcast that was reading about this whiskey. So
yeah, And obviously, since it's a set, that's not real whiskey in there, guys. They put beer in there for the actors.
Oh man.
And then another great part from the video game was like the photo booth moment, which was like tied to your face. Like you could upload the photos that you took in the game to your Facebook account, which I don't know anyone that did. Imagine that you did do that. Like you as a 30-year-old Bruce uploading photos of 2 CGI video game women characters to
no, I've never ever in a million years. Why?
Oh man, I guess it was a moment. They talked about it in the after show pod. They're like, it's just one of the proudest moments we've had in the video game. Like, okay, like at this moment when this game came out, I was still of the like, I don't want Facebook to access anything, let alone like I'm not gonna sign in on my PlayStation. You fucking crazy, Facebook.
I wish I'd seen Kassem upload a picture of Ellie from the video game on his Facebook.
Yeah.
And be like, boy, I love this so much.
Yeah, they're like, he's got another prisoner.
Oh man.
All right. Uh-oh.
This is actually my most memorable moment of the DLC is the photo booth. Yeah, these photos were the ones that most like. I remember this very specifically from playing that DLC.
Yeah.
And going, oh, it's so cute. I don't know what it is. I can't cast them. Why do I feel like this is? It feels manufactured to me a little bit. Like what? And I was like, this feels a little bit manufactured. The moments are a little bit manufactured. You got to do the photo booth and the whole deal. But at the same time, I was like, maybe I'm just jaded. Maybe just Bruce, just enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't disagree that it's photo booths in general. Even if this was like organic and you happen to walk buy one with Autumn. And you were like, honey, let's get in there and make a memory. Even in that organic, spontaneous moment, it's still kind of manufactured because the idea of a photo booth is like...
That's true.
The whole idea is to manufacture a moment.
No, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
But nonetheless, it does play well in this particular case, making the memories. And they somehow still had ink in the little printer. And yeah, it's great. I wonder if she still kept it. I don't know if we'll see that photo strip again or not. Raja's Arcade. She says this is the most beautiful thing she's ever seen. Bruce used to go to malls when they had arcades in them. So do I. I have never agreed with Ellie more than this moment.
The episode does such a good job of making me feel nostalgia for something that I don't give two shits about. Like people have been like, do you miss arcades? And I was always like, no, I don't care. I can play any video game I want at any point in time. Why do I miss arcades? But the show itself really did make me feel nostalgia for this.
There was something to tell you what it is. It's like, well, I got to either get my parents to give me a ride to the mall or I got to take the bus to the mall. And I've got to get together some quarters and I hope no one's on the game that I want to play. There's like a lot of like anxiety and build up and tension when you're getting to the mall. And we've lost that sort of romantic pursuit of video game because you're right. Now we can just turn on any game, download any game. And I wouldn't have it any other way, but there was a thing to playing games. It wasn't as accessible as it.
I was poor when I was a kid, so when I showed up, my dad was like, "Here's $3. Make them stretch."
$3 could take you. I mean, if you were good at games, which I assumed you were, because you are now. That $3 lasted you a little while.
No, I was. I mean, like, because also, they designed arcade games to absolutely eat your quarters. They made them hard on purpose, and then you'd even get to a specific level that was harder because they knew you would die and have to use quarters over. You know that, right?
I've seen the King of Kong. Those guys put in 1 quarter, Bruce, and they got a high score.
I'm not the King of Kong, Kassem, just so you know. Just a normal person.
Yeah, all right, okay. You're taking a little bit of the nice memory I have of arcades, and you're putting a little sort of like corporate capitalistic spin on it, and I appreciate that.
Not a spin, it's just the fact.
It's the truth.
It's actually the truth. It's not spin. But also, I'm going to give everybody an arcade hack for everybody that goes to an art. Yeah, because there are still arcades that exist.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to an arcade, Kassem,
Okay.
and you don't have any money,
Mm-hmm.
somebody talked like Triple Daddy was talking about how sometimes they use tokens, sometimes you have to change your quarters for tokens, all this other bullshit. The best hack. This is something again that I learned because I was poor. I was a POV when I was a kid.
Ugh.
But you had to get your hands dirty a little bit. However, you go around to every arcade machine, every one that's inoccupied, and you stick your fingers in the return coin slots to see if they're
That's
extra
your
quarters.
hack?
That's my hack. Yeah.
Your hack
And
was to just see if someone
Kassem,
left change in there?
and they would. I would come up with dollars.
I would be
Kassem.
lying to you if I said I never did that, because I did. You had that little flappy door. And then
I
you would
came up with
stick-
so much. So many other video games I got to play because of sticking
Yeah.
my fingers in those disgusting holes.
Yeah. God, imagine. I'm surprised we didn't get COVID back then. Think about like when you were a kid, how long you would go in between hand washes. Do you know what I mean? And when I say hand washes, I'm talking about like wiping your hands in grass. Like that counts as a wash. You know what I mean?
That's a hand wash?
Yeah, you never really used soap as a kid. Mortal Kombat 2. This wasn't in the video game. They, in the video game, had a Mortal Kombat 2 pastiche, and in the game, the arcade cabinet didn't even work. It was like Riley explaining to Ellie what the game was like, and she sort of, Ellie closed her eyes and imagined it. But here we get Mortal Kombat 2. And this is where we're going to create some sort of controversy in the chat, because a lot of people say, and the creators of the show even said Mortal Kombat 2 is their favorite. And I have to disagree. I have to say Mortal Kombat 1 is my favorite and the most important of the Mortal Kombats. Bruce?
You're crazy.
What say you?
I think I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to check. I'm going to look at the Wikipedia right now. I'm going to see how many copies Mortal Kombat 2 sold.
Hold on. The Mortal
And how
Kombat
many
2
copies?
was highly anticipated because of how good Mortal Kombat 1 was. Mortal Kombat
That's
1
true.
was the reason I got a Sega Genesis. Mortal Kombat 1 is the reason there is an ESRB, The Blood, Bruce.
You're
this
right.
was a
You're right.
historical game.
But was Mortal Kombat 2 a better video game?
It's, to me, is better because of all the importance and the provenance of it.
Interesting. So you would say that the original Star Wars is better than the Empire Strikes Back, because Empire Strikes Back would be nothing without the original Star Wars.
You've backed me into a corner, Bruce. I see what you've done. I see your point, and I understand it. But I had a direct tie to Mortal Kombat because I was there when it came out. I wasn't alive for the Star Wars. Do you know what I mean? I saw those on VHS. I didn't even see Star Wars on VHS. I saw Star Wars on DVD.
What? You don't watch it on VHS?
I've never sat through the whole movies until they were on DVD, and I'm not ashamed of it. I thought
you should be ashamed.
I'm not ashamed of it. I owned Titanic on a 2 VHS set. I had the 8 VHS set of Ben-Hur. That was my mom's, but she watched it all the time. I didn't watch Star Wars until it was on DVD. There you go.
You should be ashamed. Yeah, that's
all right. Shame me then.
Somebody should revoke your pop culture nerd card.
Whatever it is.
Ridiculous.
Whatever, man. You're not gonna bully me, Bethany. So, I don't know how they got the rights. I'm assuming because Ashley made the comment that HBO might have the rights to Mortal Kombat because they just put that piece of shit Mortal Kombat movie out a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah. It's garbage. Yeah.
Absolutely fucking terrible. It's a tournament movie without a tournament. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
It's really bad.
It was garbage. But here we're back to our roots. They're having such a good time. And and there's, that line and I don't know how many episodes ago when her and she goes to an arcade cabinet, her and Joel are somewhere, and there was an arcade cabinet, and she sort of has this memory about Mortal Kombat, and it's fun to see where that memory comes from.
Yeah.
We go to Macho Nacho.
Again, that was just all the way nostalgic for me. I mean, even playing that, watching them play was so exciting. And I was like, how did Riley know the fatality? Now, hold on a minute. How did Riley know the fatality?
They talked about this. They talked about this on the pod. And they said that it wouldn't be crazy to think that Riley had the game books or game guides that she read if she was such
Oh,
a fan of the game
awesome.
that she would have
Great.
come across the game guides? That's a great
Terrific.
question,
You know
Bruce.
what? You know what? Totally fine with that. I accept the
Thank you.
lore and we'll move on.
And I accept the Lord. And here, here is the moment from the other more memorable moment from the DLC is when she reads her the sequel to her favorite pun book. Thank God they didn't drag it out like I did in the game where I just I went through almost all of them. I think I went through all of them.
I hate it. I hate it. Just hate it.
Nothing like reading puns and then finding pipe bombs that your friend made, huh?
Now, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
She's a firefly,
Yeah.
and Riley says she doesn't use those pipe bombs for evil.
Yeah.
So I believe Riley. I believe she's my best friend,
Mm-hmm.
and I am starting to really like her a lot. So I believe Riley, and
Mm-hmm.
she would only use those pipe bombs on empty buildings, not on buildings with civilians, like she says.
That's right. That's right. Just like
Right, Kassem?
just like Barack Obama did with the drones.
Kassem, right?
Right, Bruce.
Say it. Say it. Thank
It's
you.
it's you're right. She would never. But she does get upset at her, and I think they're pretty quick to like sort of forgive here. But Riley uses this sort of downbeat to tell her like the big news. What does she tell her, Bruce?
I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I'm going to join the Fireflies. Where is she actually going? What's the name of the city?
The Atlanta, I think she said Atlanta, the Atlanta
Yeah,
DC.
is it Atlanta? Is
Yeah.
that what it was? Yeah, she's leaving. And that's gonna be the end of Riley and Ellie. We're
Yeah.
never gonna be able to like because they kiss earlier.
Mhm.
Or did they kiss already? Or
No, not
did we
yet.
miss the kiss?
Not
No,
yet.
they haven't kissed. Okay. And yeah, she's leaving, and
She leaves.
Ellie feels betrayed.
Ellie feels betrayed. She walks off and then comes back. Why do you think she comes back? She goes through the little doors and she's like, ugh. And she
Because
comes
she
back.
loves her.
That's it, isn't it? It's
'Cause
just
she loves her.
straight love. It's as
Well,
simple
they're
as that.
they're best friends. There's some best friend love there. There's maybe a little sexual love. There's all sorts of stuff going on. And
Uh-huh.
you know, you can't just leave your best friend.
Can't leave your best friend. She's hiding out in the Halloween store. Just like in the game, they have some fun with the masks. And yeah, things are sort of like progressing. They've been loud already, and the scene that I forgot to clip was like there was a shot of a stalker that was
Yeah.
while they
That's
were
right.
playing Mortal Kombat so we knew something was coming, but at this moment they're just kind of having fun with the masks. They take the masks off and then they gaze into each other's eyes, and the tension is palpable.
They also chat reminded us. Yes, there was a scream. She heard a scream, so she came back for this.
She heard a scream, but she started coming back before the scream happened. And then when she heard the scream, she like
rushed.
stopped and then heard
Yeah.
the scream. And then the scream was like the Halloween display.
It was
making the
yeah.
sound.
It wasn't Riley screaming. Sorry,
No.
I didn't mean to interrupt the kiss there.
No,
There
no,
you go.
well, for sure. We need to make sure those details are in. And then yes, the big kiss happened. And this
It's a big kiss.
smile that I have yet to see from Ellie in the
yeah,
show.
Yeah.
This is such a great moment from Bella Ramsey here. You could tell this was right after Riley goes, "You're sorry for what? You know, you didn't do anything wrong." And then Bella's like, "Oh, baby."
It's on.
I thought I took a risk. I thought maybe there was a chance I'd get rejected. I didn't. She may have the same feelings for me. Let me cheese. And here she is with a big old cheeser. What a nice moment. But we can't have nice moments without having the sad moments, the scary
It's Last of
moments.
Us. It's Last of Us. So you know they're gonna fuck up everything all the time. That's what they do.
That's what they do. And in this case, that
Yeah.
stalker comes out and just does his stalker thing, man. He goes for it. He's got a nice set of chompers here. These chompers take out two of our favorite characters in this world. And
Castle, I'm gonna just real quick call out
please.
this show and a lot of other zombie shows
yeah,
for something that I'm really tired of
let's
seeing.
hear it, Bruce. Let it out.
Really tired of it. I can't stand when they get through an encounter and then they go and then they reveal the bite. I'm so tired of that.
Uh-huh.
I want the show to show me that getting bit. I'm tired of it. Like
Yeah.
it's happened three times now because
Yes.
once with Ellie, once with Riley, and once with was it Henry, I think, right?
Yes.
Um,
Well,
and
it's
I'm
because
so-
it's an effective
Oh, so tired of
storytelling
it. I'm so tired of
mechanism,
it.
which is
Yeah,
we're safe. Oh, what?
it's becoming ineffective
It
for
is.
me, is
It
what
is
I'm
a
saying.
trope. Absolutely, it's
Oh,
cliche.
did
It's
Tess
trope.
do it too? Okay, that's why I'm so over this
Yeah.
in this show.
Camera pans
Okay.
down, so it's actor's face. Actor goes, huh? And then
Yeah.
camera follows down. Reveal chomp, and we know that we are doomed. And that's sort of great makeup again, but the makeup is just so on point in this show.
Oh, it's so good. My
This
God.
is where Riley notices, before Bella notices, this is where Riley notices Bella's bite, and camera pans down, and that's, we think that's the end of those girls, right? We think, oh.
Yeah, I mean, I think they both are. It's weird that the television show didn't show us kind of what happened. I mean, well, maybe not weird. It's just sort of like they were both sitting there being like, well, I guess we're going to die together.
That's right. Station 11 didn't pull that shit. That's right, Kenny. And it was easy because there were no zombies.
Wait a minute. Hold on, Kassem. Wait, did I get bit?
Bruce? Oh, no.
Oh, my
no.
God.
Actually, no, I didn't see anything. You're cool.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
good.
I'm all right. Never mind. Just maybe one time they'll do that. Maybe they'll be like, did I get bit? And then they'll look down at it and like, oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's all good.
Yeah, somebody should play around with that. I feel like that's a Simon Pegg move. He should be the one that does it. And then there's sort of this like very sad realization that they're both going to die. And Riley gives this sort of speech that she gives in the game that's very memorable. That's like, we don't give up. We take advantage of every second we're alive, whether we have 2 minutes or 2 days or whatever it is. We continue. We exist. And it's a very nice moment. It's a very nice
and then they
moment.
both die. That's it.
They
It's the end of
both
the show.
die, and then we cut and that's it. And then the credits roll. And then what actually happens is it cuts back to current times where Ellie is in the house where Joel is underneath in the basement, and she goes and she rummages through, much like in the video game, she rummages through all the drawers. She finds a needle and thread, and she essentially makes the decision that she's not going to leave Joel, because up until this moment, she was going to leave, right? And then she remembers this conversation that she had with Riley, which is, we don't give up, we always keep going. And then she decides to keep going, which is to fight for Joel's life. And then she starts to stitch him up. And there's a really nice moment here, which is another handhold. She handholds the ones she loves, I think is what they're telling us here. The ones that she really cares about. And then she goes to work. And this is kind of where the episode ends.
This looks painful, by the way. The stitches on Joel. Like, she's probably never done that. Maybe, I don't know how much she's done this before, but this is going to be a real bad scar. Joel's going to have a real bad scar.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that you could save somebody's life in that situation if you had that same needle and thread? Or would you cause a bigger infection and somehow botch it because you didn't sterilize anything? There's a dirty old rag with blood on it. What do you try and stitch it up?
I mean,
you have to.
I try and sterilize before, right? I wash my hands, try and just maybe put a lighter up to the needle or something.
See, you already beat me to it. Like you've already, I would have never thought the lighter to the needle thing. I would have killed Joel.
No, you just got to go at it. You got to. I mean, look, you love Joel. You got to save him.
You got to save.
That's what you got to do. You got to save him.
And
booze, yeah. Pour a little booze on it. You're good to go. There you go.
One for you, one for him.
That's right. 2 for me, 1 for him.
And that's where we leave off. Now, do you want to talk about just a quick 5 seconds of where we'll be for the next episode?
I mean, you watched it. I didn't. So you go right ahead. You. It's always spoilers to me.
Well, we are going to see the group, the cannibals, next episode.
Oh, no.
It's going to be, cannibals. I think the next 2 episodes are going to be really good, right? Because
it's the last ones, right?
It's the last 2. I think there are 9 confirmed. So 2 more. And so the payoff of all this sort of Joel and Ellie having their walls up all season, and they finally just overcame them last episode. They finally are taking responsibility for each other and realizing that they are more than just like travel partners. It's finally going to come to where like the love they have for each other, we kind of see it rear at the end of this episode, and we're going to see it in the next two, and it's going to pay off, and hopefully there'll be a pretty stellar landing of this plane.
Because we're supposed to basically wrap up the entire story in 2 episodes. And Mask Crispy said it needs to turn up. These last 2 episodes were okay. And you know what, Mask Crispy? I completely agree.
I actually agree as well.
At the risk of people being like, you don't have enough feelings, Bruce. I wish that we had gotten more action. The episodes are great. There's been 2 whole episodes dedicated to relationships, and I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. It's obviously character building, and it's doing a great job. But also, there hadn't been much action in the zombie show, and that's okay.
Look,
all right.
I
want more.
Totally. I am all for the direction they've taken so far. If the next 2, we get to pay off all this character building, they have to pay it off with some action and combine it with all the stuff that we have like earned emotionally with these characters. So, and I think we will. I just think that based on how this game ends, if all they got to do is mirror what happens in the game, and we'll have that payoff. So it's like,
that's right. Yeah,
and the threat to me, the threat that's coming up, that's around the corner, is bigger than any of the other threats that we've had in the show so far. So the stakes are higher, the threats are higher. Joel's, barely hanging on, and we know a whole lot more about Ellie and her backstory. I think we've done our homework. We've done the lab work. It's time to go out into the field and earn it.
I would agree. Somebody said that Live in Season said we don't know the season ends at the same point as the game, but I thought that we did. I thought that we knew one season was going to be the entire game, but maybe not. I don't know.
It would be strange if they didn't.
But here's really strange.
Here's the thing. It's like the cannibals, the little town the cannibals live in, you could potentially stretch that into 2 episodes. However, I don't think they are. I think they're going to do 1 episode there and then 1 episode at the where they finally find the Firefly doctors. And that whole I think you kind of have to do that because they've kind of covered everything else in the same way, and for them to leave anything out from the game would feel weird because they've they didn't shortcut a lot of stuff. They've just sped up the pace in the show to make sure that they are on track to do this thing. I do think though that the last episode might have to be kind of long, maybe like an hour and 15 or something.
It should be. If they're going to wrap it up, they're going to wrap it all the way up. So
as we know, the story doesn't wrap up after this game, does it?
Well, I was going to say, we know it's renewed for season 2 already. So
and they do want to make. I think they are talking about doing a 3rd game, and then which would coincide with the release of the 3rd season of the show, but it's not guaranteed according to Neil Druckmann. So. There you go. You guys just watched our episode 7 of The Cast of Us with Bruce and Cass. Remember, if you're watching this on Bruce's YouTube channel, do yourself a favor. Click that subscribe button. Right while you're at it, click that notification bell. That way you know when Bruce goes live, when a video drops. It's important. We got to grow this son of a bitch. This guy's going to take over YouTube one day. You understand? And if you guys if you're watching this on his YouTube, join us Monday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific because we do this live. We have a whole chat. So many great people are in the chat right now. You get to comment. You get to give us your good takes, your bad takes, your takes, and we can see them and work them into the show. So if you have been enjoying it and you have a Monday night free, come by and join us here.
Twitch.tv/KassemG, KassemG is where we do it live in the case you want to watch live.
That's right. Bruce, anything before we go?
Nothing at all, Kassem. I'm really sad that we're wrapping up here pretty soon on the Last of Us.
We're going to have to fight. We might have to do Succession season 4.
Oh, that's going to be yet another show that's too good to talk about. It's just going to be, I can't wait.
Oh,
I can't wait.
The last episode's only 43 minutes, and next week is 51. 43 minutes for a finale seems really short. This just
That
in.
it does.
This is the beauty of having. This is the beauty of having a chat. All right. Well, we'll have to discuss that next week. Until then, appreciate you guys for being here, and we'll see you next Monday. So long.
See ya.